there's two parts of today's Bible story. And the last part of the Bible story is the really important one that relates to what we're going to do here in just a moment. Okay, so in the Hebrew Bible, it says that God commanded people to take good care of the earth and the land and the water. And sometimes in English it gets translated like we rule over it, but we're not supposed to rule over it. We're supposed to care for it like a farmer does, or like a shepherd does a sheep, or a parent takes care of their children. So, not polluting it and stuff. So I want each of you to fill up your cup about 2/3 of the way with water. There's a pitcher right there. There's pitchers, so just fill it up, and you can fill up Alana's for her.
How far do we fill it up?
Half to 2/3. That's plenty. Okay. And I'm going to use this big bowl to make it easy to see. And I'm going to move these out of the way for just a second. Now, in all the countries that we're going to learn about, and all over the world, clean water, and particularly clean drinking water, is one of the most valuable and underappreciated things. Like, there is no river in Iowa that you should probably be drinking out of unless you treat the water because of the amount of pollution in it. Okay? So to symbolize this pollution, we're going to use a little bit of glitter.
A little bit or what?
Just a little bit. So just put a little bit of glitter on the top of your water, and you're just going to see it's going to sit there. So it's going to represent some pollution. Okay. Now, I am going to use Dawn. And we picked Dawn for a reason. Now, if I just put my finger in there, I get some glitter on my finger, but nothing really happens to the glitter. If this were oil or some other pollutant, it really wouldn't do much. But watch what happens if I put a drop of Dawn on it.
Oh.
So, the Dawn, a little bit, and I want you guys to put like a drop in the middle of it and watch what happens. So the Dawn separates it out. The Dawn is particularly really good at getting rid of certain kinds of pollution. Oils, in particular. Oops. If you put way too much, weird things happen. So just like a drop. Yeah. And the closer you get so it doesn't drop straight down to the bottom, the better off you are.
Pollution does not like Dawn.
Yeah. So in fact, Procter & Gamble, who owns Dawn dish soap, will donate a whole bunch of Dawn dish soap to any place that there's an oil spill, and they use it to clean all the oil off the feathers of the birds and off of the fur of the seals and other animals. And so the reason why we want you to do this is we want you to think about trying to keep pollution out of the water, because it's a lot easier to keep pollution out of the water than it is to get it off of the animals. And so if you actually look at, and you probably saw the commercial, if you saw the Super Bowl, they showed the picture of them cleaning all the little baby ducks from the oil spill. That literally happens. And so what we want to think about is that although we can use this to clean up the water after we screw it up, we're a lot better off if we don't screw it up in the first place, and then we can help the animals live good, healthy lives. And because everything's interconnected. When all the fish in the rivers get polluted, if we eat them, we can get sick. If we don't eat them, birds eat them, they'll get sick. That's why bald eagles were endangered, was because of stuff that we put on land that went into the rivers, and they ate fish, and it made them sick. And except it was really weird. It made their eggs really weak, so the adults didn't get sick, but as soon as the mama bird sat on the eggs, they would crack, and so they couldn't reproduce. And so the American bald eagle almost became dead. And if we get really lucky, one will fly over, because there's a pair that nest about a mile that way that fly over this church from time to time. It's really cool. So when you're here, you can look for the bald eagles. I want everybody to take one of these pop bottles, and you guys already got yours. So, and I want you to take a screen, and the screen is really there just to help demonstrate what's going on. There you go. And we're going to put the screen over the top, and then we're going to take a rubber band, and we're going to hold it in place. Okay?
How many times should we wrap the rubber band around?
Until it's tight. It depends on how long your rubber band is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, now, air is pushing on us all the time. And in the units that we normally talk about, it's about 20 pounds per square inch, but we don't notice it. So on the top of your head, air is pushing down 20 pounds per square inch. On your front of your body, it's pushing with 20 pounds per square inch. On the back of your body, it's pushing the same amount. And we don't normally notice it unless wind is blowing from one side more than the other, because then we go, ooh, there's more air coming that way and I can feel it. But right now, you don't really feel it. So, got the water in here. Now, in the Bible story, that God separated the water from the air and the water from the land. And we're going to show how they can be separated. Now, if I were to just pour, if I was just going to turn this upside down, what's going to happen to the water?
It's gonna fall.
So if I do this, it just goes out, right? And part of that, and the reason for that is that there's nothing to stop it. And when I get it like this, there's still an uneven spot for the air to come. Now, I want you to watch right here. Now the screen is really here just to keep the water flat. So it's got a flat surface for the air to push on. And you'll notice, as I turn it, a little bit of water comes out. But as soon as I get it vertical, the air pushes hard enough to stop it from falling. The air is at least as strong as gravity. Now, go ahead, turn it over. And just to show that there's nothing special, that it's not really the screen, take a toothpick, stick it through your screen. Because if it's really the screen, right, you would go, oh, I poked a hole in it, it should go through. So it's not like I put glue on the screen or anything. This is really all about air pressure being equal to and as strong as gravity. Yep.
Let's see, Alana.
Yep.
I feel like there's like a bubble on top of my screen.
Hold it all the way straight.
Yep. Got to hold it straight up and down. Yeah. Now.
When I tap it, is it like a little?
Now. So air pressure. So air and water are separated, and we don't normally think about how strong air is. Right. Have you ever tried to like pour something really fast? Mm-hmm. And there's a trick to it. And this is one that I learned when I worked in a restaurant. If you want water to come out of a bottle really quickly, when I turn it over, look, it's not coming out. But if I swirl it around and I make a cyclone action, there's a spot for the air to come up, and it will make it come out really, really fast. And the reason for that is that the air pushes up through the middle, and then it pushes back down out the sides to push the water around. And if you want to see it go super, super fast, if I take the screen off, so now not going to be a totally flat surface.
Oh, that's cool.
If you do this correctly, you can empty a gallon orange juice jug in 5 seconds. The air and the water get separated, but air pressure is strong enough to counteract the water, and it's a really cool thing because we don't ever think about how strong air pressure is.